All right, let's talk about Representative Don Bacon, who used taxpayer expense account to pay campaign consultant. Now, guys, if you're not very familiar with politics, you need to understand that it's a big no-no. That's the legal term for it. It's a big no-no to use money provided by taxpayers for your private political ambitions. So, using taxpayer money to pay a campaign consultant for your campaign is illegal. It is, again, to quote the legal jargon, a big no-no. So let's take a look at this. Congressman Don Bacon, Republican of Nebraska, used his congressional expense account to pay his campaign strategist, a move that may raise ethics concerns about the use of taxpayer funds. Yeah, it may do that, since that's exactly what happened, but let's read on. Bacon's congressional office made 2 payments this year using government funds totaling $52,518 to Double Bogey Strategies, a limited liability company registered in Alexandria, Virginia, and owned by David Watts, the campaign strategist advising Bacon's re-election effort. The expense payments to Watts' company included $20,371 for printing and reproduction and $32,147 for advertisements. Watts also owns Double Eagle Strategies, a campaign consulting firm retained by Bacon since 2017. House ethics rules and federal law prohibit use of congressional government funds on communication advisors and campaign advisors, as well as for any campaign-related purposes. While Watts may have been doing work for the congressional office, using the same consultant for the campaign and the congressional office is unusual. Congressional advertising, mass email, and unsolicited postal mail funded by the government is allowed under extensive restrictions to prevent lawmakers from spending government funds on explicitly political endeavors. As such, communications are generally used to announce town halls and other constituent services. Let's take a look. What are these communication guidelines? Okay. Oh, here we go. This is a large document. Authorized use of the franked mail and other official communication resources. The following are authorized users of the frank and other official What is the frank? Oh, the frank is not free. Oh, gotcha. Um, um, yeah, Your Honor, the defendant is accused of doing a big hecking no-no. So, representative, delegate, or resident commissioner in the case of a disaster or other threat of life to life safety, authorized users of the frank may use the frank on behalf of a vacant congressional office. The frank, by the way, is the Hatch Act, I believe, is something similar but different. Yeah, the Hatch Act prevents pernicious political activities. Essentially, I believe the Hatch Act is like a politician using their position to personally enrich themselves. I believe that's what it means. Yeah, or like a government agent misusing their power to personally enrich themselves. Um, yeah, let's whoop. What is the Hatch Act and what does it mean? Um, the Hatch Act prohibits federal employees from engaging in most political activity inside federal buildings or while on duty. Though the president and vice president are exempt from civil provisions of the Hatch Act, federal employees like Pompeo, Wolf, and any executive and branch employees who helped stage the events are not. But But yeah, basically using your public office to personally benefit yourself, um, or your campaign. So similar, but also like when it comes to this, like there are regulations about using, for example, like uh, you know how like congressional candidates can like send out or sometimes send out like mail about like a town hall, and it doesn't need a stamp. Like that's what this is talking about when it talks about the frank. um you could I don't want to dig through all of this to find my point, but anyway, extensive restrictions prevent lawmakers from using spending government funds on explicitly political endeavors. um Watts, a former official with the National Republican Congressional Committee, has played an active role in the Bacon campaign, and records show he has advised the lawmaker throughout the campaign this cycle. His name appears in the Bacon campaign's mass emails to supporters, and a Bacon campaign commercial is featured on Watts' consulting website as an example of his accomplishments. Neither the Bacon campaign nor Watts responded to multiple requests for comment. Bacon's congressional office acknowledged an inquiry from The Intercept, but has not responded. Yeah, let's take a look. Oh yeah, he's being challenged from the left by Kara Eastman, who, by the way, incredibly based. Kara Eastman is great. She's a social worker, nonprofit leader, and she lost during the midterms, but she's back, baby, and hopefully she wins. Eastman outraised Bacon in the latest round of quarterly campaign finance disclosures, and polls suggest another close race. Let me take a look. Oh, yeah, she seems nice. I bet she supports worker rights. She raised $1.8 million. That's incredible. Yeah. So almost like $800,000 more than what her opponent raised. Dang. Dang. Can you say blown the F out? Jeez. The Bacon campaign paid Watts' company at least $178,478, including payments totaling $15,000 during the period when Watts' other firm also received funding from Bacon's congressional expense account. Man, that is just a lot of guys. What am I doing being a political commentator? I should just work for some of these small-time, like, congressional campaigns. They throw around so much money. Look at that. Jeez Louise. In comments to the press, Watts has explained that he has helped his clients, including Bacon, adapt to a campaign environment constricted by the coronavirus pandemic. Okay, blah, blah, blah. Payments to Watts' company listed in Bacon's filing. To hire... Congressional ethics rules say that MRA funds may only be used to hire contractors for general, non-legislative office work unrelated to campaign or political activities such as custodial services and equipment maintenance. Man, that sure doesn't seem what this Watts character has been doing. Yeah. Alright. Yeah, payments to Watts' company are listed in Bacon's filing in his MRA report. Cool. Alright, so he's very clearly breaking the law here. Lawmakers frequently misuse government funds meant for legislative and constituent services. Last July, the House Ethics Committee fined Representative David Schweikert, a Republican of Arizona, $50,000 for using his MRA expense account for campaign-related funds. Okay, guys, here's something I don't get. This is a campaign that's throwing around hundreds of thousands of dollars. Throwing around hundreds of thousands of dollars. They raised almost $1 million in campaign funds. Um, or if we just take that as like a baseline, what is fining someone who has the capability of raising hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars? What is the point of fining them $50,000? That doesn't seem like much of a deterrent to me. Um, just for blatantly breaking rules that are meant to stop people from doing that. In this case, an investigation found that the Arizona Republicans spent $270,000 in congressional MRA funds on a series of campaign-related travel, accommodations, and food. Staff hired using MRA funds also performed campaign-related duties in violation of ethics rules and federal law. So, they're able to spend $270,000 on misused funds. These are taxpayer money on their own campaign activities, and then they get fined $50,000. Where's the sense in that? You're fining them far less than what they actually spent, and you're not getting this money back. It's like a scolding and then a small slap on the wrist that represents a minuscule fraction of the amount of money that gets thrown around in these races. Hello, Yusuf. Welcome to our stream. I appreciate you being here, friend. Yeah, in 2018, the Ethics Committee found that Representative Luis Gutierrez, the third, oh, sorry, not the third, Democrat of Illinois, improperly used his MRA expense to hire his former chief of staff through a consulting firm. Again, evidence of this revolving door. Both Democrats and Republicans participate in this, which is why we need to get rid of it. A violation of the ban of hiring consultants using the account. Gutierrez was ordered to pay $9,700 back to the U.S. Treasury. So, presumably in this case, they got the money back? All of the money? Did they get all of the money back? Can we see? Who is Rush? Oh. Okay, so the other numbers down here don't have anything to do with Louis Gutierrez. Interesting. All right. And in perhaps the most famous recent case, former Representative Aaron Schock, Republican of Illinois, stepped down after reports showed he'd used his MRA account for lavish decorations of his congressional office designed to reflect the design of a room in the television show Downton Abbey. Excellent. Yeah, exactly. Tiniest boop. Very good point. It's not the fine, it's the price of being allowed to break the law. It's the same thing that they do with companies that, like, poison entire communities. You know, like, oh, you were in the wrong, you need to pay back $10 million. And, like, their whoopsie-daisy of poisoning an entire community's ecosystem is, like, damage in the billions of dollars. But, you know, they just get a slap on the wrist, and so they keep poisoning communities. Yeah. Man, this is a bit depressing. I wish we had ended on this story of Beyonce not really being black. That was a fun one. Remember those times, people?